Okay, be weird. Save changes. That's fine. All right. Yay, we're live. All right, perfect. Oh my goodness. Welcome y bienvenidos to Presently Aquí. This is my second webinar of my mindfulness series. Presently Aquí was created to serve as a platform for the Latino community and friends to discover for the first time or dive deeper into mindfulness, or as I now call it, mindfulness, which is a flow within yourself. And for those of you tuning in for the first time, on my first webinar, we discussed what mindfulness is, how it affects you and your family dynamic, and different types of ways to practice mindfulness. To quickly review what mindfulness is, it's simply paying attention to your thoughts and emotions at any given moment. And the reason why this is so important for you to understand is so when an uncomfortable situation presents itself, you're able to come from a calm and focused mindset to make better choices for yourself. In turn, it helps us understand ourselves better, and the side effect of creating this awareness within ourselves, I'm sorry to say that it's self-love. And in today's webinar, we will be discussing how to retrain our brain to outsmart your daily habits, your bad habits, by using helpful tips and tricks, starting with gratitude to help you stay calm during a pandemic. Lastly, I came across this book called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. And in the book, there was a concept which I fell in love with, and it says, if I love myself, what would I do? So we will be discussing those topics. So allow me to introduce to you my first guest, and that is an old friend of mine, Ace Watana Suparp, and he is actually representing my ally panelists. As you know, once a month, I will be hosting one ally panelist from a different background, so that way they are the bridge to our community to theirs. And Ace is a national VP of Citizens Bank, a restaurateur, part-time basketball player, and soon-to-be podcaster. Welcome, Ace.
Hi, Claudia. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're here. I mean,
Well,
I know the public doesn't know, but it's been a long friendship. Almost 20 years. I'm really, really excited to have you.
excited to be here. Apologize for the background. I'm actually at a hotel for a really good friend's wedding right now. So it's an Indian wedding, so it's 3 days:
Fun.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right, right.
And I'm joining in on the third day, so I'm just checked into the hotel. So
Awesome, awesome. Great, great. All right, perfect. Let me introduce the next guest, and that's Fernanda Kelly. Fernanda is an actress, writer, entrepreneur, and practicing Buddhism for 15 years now. But above all, she's been such an amazing, supportive friend. Let me introduce everyone to Fernanda. Hi, Fernanda. Welcome.
Hi, so happy to be with you. Hi, Ace.
hi, Fernanda. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good.
I'm actually home. I'm happy to be
You
here.
know, Ah, no, I love it. I love we're all in our comfort zones. I mean, with COVID, where else are we besides indoors? And sadly, we can't be in front of each other, but this is phenomenal. So I'm really happy to have you guys here. So to start off, we are going to talk about what is meant by retraining your brain. And so the reason I started to or decided to do it on this webinar, because the first one was just 101. What is it? What is mindfulness? So this one, I invited Ace and Fernanda to help us, the audience. How can we start by that and retraining your brain? Like we have our daily routine that we're used to every day. But now that you maybe perhaps see that you want to make a change within yourself or your life, or how can you? Because change is hard. So what are some things that both of you have started? I'll start with Ace. Like when you started to wanted to change and become this success for yourself, what are things that you kind of like started tricking your brain to get into it?
I think life is almost like a roller coaster ride, right? You have ups and downs no matter where you are in life. And I think perspective is key. We can all be down on ourselves or, be in a rut for a week or two, but getting yourself out of it and having the wherewithal to know that you're in that rut is key. And I think you started the conversation by saying that we're all your friends here and it's a great support system, right? So I think retraining your brain is really about perspective, right? And that they're saying, half glass full. That's so important in today's environment because with all the media and news, with the pandemic, the political environment, you could probably get so sucked into the TV or on your phone, and you could think the world is ending, right? But I think perspective is key. Really having a balanced viewpoint on where you are in life, and really, gratitude is so important. That's why, obviously now with the pandemic, I'm not able to do as much, but I love to travel because I think people that live in this country, we take a lot for granted, right? We take our freedom for granted. We take our water for granted. There are third world countries that don't even have clean water to drink. So perspective is key. Having a balanced viewpoint on things when you think you're in a rut, always know that someone's probably in a worse position than you are, and you have to learn how to be grateful with the things that you have, right? No matter how little or how big, I think you have to really see what's valuable in your life. And, I think it starts with yourself. If you love yourself, then you can give love to others.
Right.
And a lot of people, when they're in a really dark place or a rough rut, it's because they're not in love with what they're doing, or they're not in love with themselves, or they're not passionate with their workplace or their family or whatever it is.
Right.
So you need to kind of find that passion back. And I think, probably Fernanda can talk about this because she's a Buddhist. And, growing up in a family, my parents were Buddhists. There was a lot of meditation going on, right? There's a lot of just, thanking your your family before you and ancestors and things of that nature. So, gratitude is key. And I'm going to stop now because I can go on and on, but I want to Fernanda too in terms of what her viewpoints are. But I think if I were to give one takeaway to our listeners is perspective is number one, and number two, self-love. Because if you love yourself, then you can actually personify that love to others. But if you try to love others first and love yourself last, no matter what you do to give to the world, you're never going to be truly happy. So I would key.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. I totally agree with everything that you just said. And I feel like looking at it from the broader perspective, that's the end goal, like to really love yourself when it comes to retraining your brain. But I do feel that that's almost like the victory. That's almost like the celebration that we have already retrained our brain. But I feel like for me, in the experiences that I have with my environment and the people I talk to and my Buddhist practice, I feel like the first thing in order for us to retrain our brain is to have the determination that we want to really determine that we do not want to live this life this way anymore, that we don't want to suffer this way anymore, that we do not want to be in this position anymore, or that we want a change. It could be that we still want this position, that we still love this life that we have, but we want more. And I feel like sometimes, at least on my experience, we fear wanting. We fear, we even the fact to imagine the change is very dreadful, is very scary, but it has to be the driving force of our goal, of our retraining, which is the desire to change, the determination. It's not the wish. It's not that, oh my God, maybe one day. No, it's I will, I am, and this is how it's going to go. And then I feel like appreciation, like you said it, Ace, is super important because we tend to dwell on what's bad. And of course we can be there forever, we can just sit there, and that's not retraining our brain. It really is just going over what's wrong and what's missing and what's we don't have. But if we just really just shift our brain a little bit and say, you know what, even though this is not going my way, I have this illness, I have this bad going on, I have this issue, what is really going on that's good that I can focus on. And then the shift of energy is automatic. I mean, I've seen it every day of my life. I mean,
Amen, amen, girl. If I could give you a high
yeah.
Right?
right there.
And of course,
Yeah.
the meditation is part of it all. You know, that's how I get there.
Yeah, and I want to touch on what you said last. What helps with determination, consistency, right? And that's why it kind of leads on to the next thing, right? Well, how we started in the bad habits, right? How do we see that? What are your bad habits? I think that even though we may not have self-love, we know what our bad habits are. Is it too much social media? Is it I'm a terrible listener when my family or friends are sharing things with me? I'm all wrapped up here. I'm only me. So when the next step would be consistency, right? The more consistent you are with newer habits or wanting having that determination and doing these things for yourself, is a everyday thing, and it's gonna take time, which is one thing I want everyone to understand. This is, Fernanda and Ace and everyone else that I will have on this show didn't become this way overnight.
No.
And it's not the end goal either, right? Y'all, it's
Yeah,
ever ending work every day. Like once you set new daily habits, there's a new thing to do, right? It's just
correct.
so on the next one, I wanted to share like what do you guys do in the beginning of your path of mindfulness? What did you start doing to kind of trick your brain into like, okay, maybe I'll get up earlier, or maybe I'll have a mantra, or maybe whatever it is. What is it that kind of fueled in the beginning to have this determination? I'll start with Fernanda.
Well, for me, I come from a Catholic family background, so for me, it was really a spiritual journey. I mean, that's as simple as I can make it. Sometimes we go around life having a religion, sometimes we don't. But for me, it was a spiritual journey. I was Catholic, and then all of a sudden, I met someone at work that was Buddhist, and she just kept talking about Buddhism and Buddhism, and I was like, oh my God, can you just shut up about Buddhism? Just take me to a meeting, and I never want to hear about it again, so you don't have to bother me. And then when I went to that one meeting, they told me just chant for 90 days for the one thing that you want that has been like the impossible in your life. And if after 90 days it doesn't come true, then you can walk out. I was like, I can do that. So I started chanting day and night for my commercial because, as an actress, I wanted to book like a national commercial. So what I'm trying to say is that for me, I committed because I really wanted what I wanted. And they told me that if I did this, I was going to get it. It's not magic. But what happens through meditation is that you start connecting to the desire and to the energy. Then you start creating that ripple effect into your environment. Then it reflects it. So it's not that it's magic when you meditate or when you chant. It's that what you're doing is wiring your brain and your energy vibration. That's where the magic is at. And so that's how I started. It was daily meditation, day and night.
Awesome. Ace, do you have anything to add about your daily tricks and tips when you started?
Similar to Fernanda, meditation is in there, and a good friend of mine introduced me to a book 10 years ago. It was called the Morning Miracle by Hal Elrod, and it's called Lifesavers, and it's really about just an hour of your day, but waking up really, really early, right? And it's a whole big community now, hold each other accountable. But the Lifesavers, the savers, it stands for S is silence, which is meditation for 10 minutes. A is affirmation. V is visualization. E is exercise. R is reading. And S is script, which is writing. You do 10 minutes of each, right? And you have an hour. And I usually get up at 5 and I'm done by 6 and then I start my day. But, what's important about it is, as silence, when you meditate for just 10 minutes and you're thinking about nothing at all, to Fernanda's point, you just have such a clear mind and you're more focused, right? And it kind of gets your mind ready when you first wake up. Then affirmation is you have to really say out loud what you want to get accomplished for that day, for that week. For me, I break it down. I feel like life is a game of inches. Like right now we're going towards the end of the year and everybody's going to have New Year's resolutions. and usually it's some big lofty goal, right? For me, I think, whether it's your career, whether it's family, whether it's your friends, just small little changes are key. So like daily little, make one forward progress instead of just trying to overachieve, right? But
Right.
it's important to just have these sort of tools. S is silence, A is affirmation, V is really visual. So you want to really be able to see where you want to be, and then exercise is so important. I would tell everyone, when you exercise in the morning, it gets the oxygen flowing in your body. There's this chemical balance that you have, and Fernanda, Claudia, I know you guys exercise. I can tell right away.
Or like, yeah.
And then
Actually, I'm gonna be honest. I was gonna go hiking this morning, and then I looked at the weather. Listen, and it was 47 degrees. I was like, I have to start getting this in my mind that it's gonna be this cold now in the morning. So I go tomorrow.
LA cold, right, Ace?
Cold. It gets cold at night, but yeah, I mean, all of those things are so important. And then basically reading, if you read 10 minutes a day, it's equivalent to literally reading 300 pages, right? So you could probably finish 2 or 3 books in a month by just reading 10 minutes a day. So when you break it down, 10 minutes a day, everybody has 10 minutes in a day, right? So it's one of those things where if you just have a system. For me, it was the Miracle Morning. For others, it could be meditation, just like Fernanda said. It could be whatever it is. But for me, that really helped me, Claudia, create more of accountability, because there's a community too that you kind of sign on and you share different experiences. And for me, doing things by myself, it's kind of lonely. So I love the fact that I can actually join that community. So it was pretty cool.
I put it down, the Miracle Morning. Thank you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I put here a gratitude, because I feel like meditation, people are afraid of it or turned off by it or whatever it may have you. That's why I wanted to suggest, start with gratitude. If you wake up every morning and list 10 things you're thankful for every day, you best believe, right, that your energy, everything's going to change. And that's simple, right? Getting up, like, start changing these little things about your day, and it just makes a world of difference. And not only that, but it's weird, but right, your body becomes happy too, right? Your body starts to vibe, and you're like, oh, and you're like, what's happening? And the exercise really helps, because of the what is the hormone release, right?
Yeah, it's a good chemical balance. Oxygen, brain, it goes all over your body. So
And then we're all in different shapes and heights and weights, but pick what's right for you. Pick what works for you. Don't look at what Ace is doing. And if your hiking is not your thing, like Fernanda, or like for me, I love doing HIIT at home and yoga. If those are not for you, then find something to do. I actually, there's this young lady, I see her 11 a.m. every morning. She does her walk.
Yeah.
And that's just that, but she's there every day, and you better believe that a year from now she's not gonna look, she's a little heavy set, but I'm sure she's gonna be happier. And she puts on her music, and I'm just like, wow, I'm about to go walk with her. It's just, even that's inspiring to see. Every morning I'm like, on time, 11, she's walking the block. So it's just these little things. And I wanted, actually, something that just came up. So I asked, like, how did you guys start? Now that you are here today, what are your daily new habits? Not tricks anymore, because we already have, we already set our brains to this new mindset. So what is it that you do now, that continues to fuel your everyday, that you may want to mention to the audience? Ace or Fernanda, please.
Amanda, you go first.
Wow. For me, it's basically my chanting. I mean, it sounds like this is all I do, but really it is. It's my daily practice. However, I am on a very deep spiritual quest right now. It's a very deep, like I was talking to one of my leaders, and she said, Fernanda, you're talking adult Buddhism now. It's like, this is not beginners. Like, what I'm going through and the kind of prayer that I'm working on is really about, and I can just share it with you. It's like, what do I need to transform inside of myself in order to get to the next level. That's my prayer every single day. And it's like I sweat. I swear I sweat when I'm meditating, when I'm chanting. It's like because I
Sorry,
am.
Fernanda, you cutting up a little bit, and we missed what is it that you do. Apologies.
Oh no.
It got cut off.
Okay, am I back?
You're good now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the daily thing that I'm doing is chanting like what is it that I need to
You were
transform
saying about you were deeper. You were going in deeper.
deeper in the prayer so the prayer is this: what do I need to transform of myself in order to get to the next level?
Mm.
And it hits you with all these answers that are not so pretty. You go back in time, maybe to traumas, maybe to what it's like you start seeing a lot of the junk that you have inside, but it's like polishing it. So for me, that's where I'm at right now. After 15 years of practicing Buddhism, of course, I love to read, but I wouldn't do anything without that prayer right now. And I'm shifting the universe. I mean, this week, and it's barely Tuesday, I've seen so many results, like unbelievable results, because I'm not playing a victim. I'm taking responsibility of my life and saying, what is it that Fernanda, needs to clean? So I feel like when we're all ready, I challenge you to really ask yourself, what is it about me that I need to change? Not my boss, not my husband cheating on me, not my mom that has cancer. No, how can I change so that my environment changes? And it's magic. It really is just so deep. Very empowering.
Very. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Wow.
Ace. What do you? I know. Right? I'm just like.
How do I go with that, Claudia? Oh, that was so great. That was so real. I felt it, Fernanda. I mean, for me, I've been working on my career for so long, Claudia. I mean, you've known me for 20 years.
Mhm.
I've always been so focused on work, and
Yeah.
now at this stage of my life, I'm really working on balance because you tend to realize that, and Fernanda, this being an actress, when you put your heart and soul into one thing, you achieve you achieve that goal of yours, but at what cost, right? And I realize a lot these days that family was sacrificed, friendships, just myself, self love, right? Spending time for myself. So these days, I used to always take calls even when I'm eating. Now, they can wait, right? I'll put vacation time in there. I used to never take vacations, right? Because time passes you by, and you can never take back the time that you lost. And I think life is more than just about your career or anything for that matter. And I think balance has always been a struggle and a challenge for me. And I think as I get older throughout the years, I tend to make more of a focus and a determination, to your point, to really make sure that I prioritize what's important in my life. Right, still having work be important, but not everything. Right, that's not. I want to make time to go hiking, Fernanda. Right, on Sundays. Sunday now becomes family time. You know that, Claudia, from
Yeah.
us talking. Right, every Sunday, I'm gonna visit my parents. My nieces, my sister, and that becomes my Sunday. So it all depends on where you are in your life. But I feel like if you really want to create change, because I've always told myself I want to change, but every year I have another goal. I have another goal. I'm opening up another business. But at what point do you stop and kind of take a look back and say, okay, you know what? That's important. But there's other things that I should be working on in my life as well, right? So I think it's about waking up and having that aha moment and saying, okay, no more. I'm going to put pen to paper on what I want to do, and you have to make it a priority. A lot of people are like, Ace, well, how do you prioritize? You have to write it down, right? Like what's important to you in today, because today changes from tomorrow, changes from yesterday. So it's always evolving, but I think as long as you grow as a person, that's where you'll realize spiritually, where your happiness is.
Yeah. And I feel like as much as this conversation, we can't really disconnect spirituality when it comes to self-love, right? That that word is so broad. It could cover this, because that becomes a new faith in yourself, a new walk of life for yourself. Like it just becomes a spiritual journey with yourself, because now you're, like Fernando was saying, like you're vibing with, in tune with different energies.
Yeah.
So it just does become like a self spiritual journey, and you start discovering yourself, and like uh uh what is the word, not coincidences, but oh, I'm losing
Oh,
the word, like
uh,
things that start showing up for you. uh I forget the
yeah,
word.
like, I know what you mean.
But you know, I hope everyone else knows what I mean. Like when things just start showing up all of a sudden, you say, "Oh, I will like this," and then bam, it appears. It doesn't appear just because you said it. It appears because you're doing the work. You're showing life that you're number one. Yeah, I'm number one. Yeah, this is what I'm doing every day. I'm doing. You're showing up for yourself, so then in turn the universe will show up for you. It just magically works. Like Fernandez is magic. It's just, it
Yeah.
is, it's magical. It's so beautiful, and it's kind of why like I really wanted to do this. It's just like if we are become in tune with ourselves, just slowly. You know, it's gonna take time. If this is all new to you, then it's. But you're worth it, aren't you? Like, aren't you worth all this work? And like Ace, for sure, I know you're a workaholic, like, and to hear you like realize like, hey, actually no, I love that. I really love that, because it, even though he's successful, but you see, we're still working on this. Like no one is complete. Like this is a forever journey that we're gonna go on with. Like I don't know, we lost Ace in picture. Ace, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Claudia. I don't know what happened to the picture. Um, let me see if I
Oh,
can.
we can hear you.
Huh.
um No, you're fine. I mean, we can hear you. So if you're able to play while we're talking and still talking, I'm okay with
Yes,
that.
of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so what I was mentioning in my opening about this book I came across, and the author's name is, if I get it, Kamal Ravikant, and it's Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. And that's where I got this. If I love myself, what would I do? I really love, yay, sis back. I really love this concept, and I wanted to incorporate it in this conversation, because what you are both doing is this, right? If you do, what would I do? If I do love myself, well, what would I do? You know, and it's something like I really fell in love with this idea, because we always, I feel like we're in a society where we aspire to be someone else, right? Kim, or a sports person, or a model, or whomever that is not to say that's not you, but that's not real, right? So I really fell in love with this. If I love myself, what would I do? So I wanted to share that with the audience, to maybe that could be your kickoff on starting in the right foot for yourself, for a daily practice. You know, do either one of you do journaling or voice memos, or how do you keep ideas that are pertaining to your growth, self growth?
Well, I actually, Ace mentioned it. I mean, I'm gonna show you guys. I write everything down, even if it's like, I think my notes are here. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like these are all every single day. If I don't write it down, it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. I don't do it. I don't make it happen. I don't remember, you know, because it's like I got all these things in my mind. Again, I'm running two businesses, so it's just like, so for me, I have to write things down every morning. Okay, today I'm gonna do this. This is this. It's not really like journaling. It's more like a to-do list, but it's to move forward in what I
Right,
want, dreams,
right,
even
right.
like ideas, you know, like holiday this for my brand, and pajamas for my family, you know, order those, or like, you know, it's just so generic and so
Right,
specific that it's almost like journaling. But
right,
Ace, you right?
Yeah, same thing at like what Fernandez said. I'm writing all day long, right?
right, right.
For different
Yeah.
business.
That's what I'm looking at here. What's the author's name? I
Yeah,
don't like the same. It's just, it
that
helps tremendously, right? It's
Right.
insane.
But it's for me, I like to I don't know if I call it journal, but it's more of a to-do list at night, because that's when I think probably that's when I'm probably the best at coming up with like creative ideas, or in the shower and I'm like, oh my goodness, I come out and I write.
Shower, yes.
So that's always the best, right, Fernanda and Claudia? So
That's
like we're
crazy.
not
I
really
don't
think
know why the shower.
I don't know why either, but that's when the best ideas come, and then I'll run out of the shower, write it down, and then
Yeah.
you know
I think because your body's calm, right? It's there, everything's like, oh, and then things just start, oh my
yeah.
God, oh my God.
But
Right?
it's a do list like the night before, so that when I wake up, I just feel better about myself. I know exactly what I want to do, and then I do the savers, and then we just start our day. So
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. And I want to actually touch up on what just happened last week, and not going into politics, just how the election has took over people's lives. People became obsessive with watching this. And I'm only pointing it out because it's not the first time that an event occurs and people just become obsessed over. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because if you're gonna obsess over watching anything like that, I think the fair thing would be like, all right, if I'm gonna watch 3 hours of the election, what am I doing 3 hours for me? Right? Like having a balance of with the media consumption. And um, I don't know. It's really difficult because I don't know about the both of you, but my brain doesn't work in that way that I just have to. I really didn't care because all I can do was vote, right? And the rest is out of my hands. The end. By watching it obsessively doesn't make it go the way I want. So I just don't know where. I don't know if you guys maybe have an understanding, because I was like, why are people so like consumed all day 24? Like it was just like, wow, watching this. And it kind of scary a little bit, because I felt like people were losing themselves a little bit more over something they can't control besides just voting. So I feel like even with COVID, right? Like the only thing we can do is wear a mask, wash our hands, social distance, avoid large crowds, and people become obsessed with the news of it. But all we can do, or never leave your house, because that also affects you by not leaving your house. So I just kind of like, I don't know. Sadly, I had like a comment section here, but it's not clicking. My friend just told me that it's not working, so I'm not gonna have a Q&A. So I'm being the audience. Because that's what a lot of people were talking about, and I just wanted to like have a better understanding, like where does this obsessive behavior come from? Is it just not wanting to take accountability for your life? I'm not sure. Do you guys have like any input of where that comes from, or how maybe we can become better at something like that? Nothing?
I guess I can start. So what I have several opinions on that, because I feel like one, it's for me, it's only natural that we want answers, right? And the fact that we don't have them, it's just like we're constantly looking to find the answer, whether you were on one side or the other. We just wanted things to be resolved. And also, like, let's say when COVID happened, we didn't know what was going on, so we were all glued to the TV. But if I take it a little farther, I always think of Abraham Hicks, or Esther Hicks, however you want to call her or him. He says, Abraham says, like, it's almost like when you want something, you gotta ask and then let it go, so that it comes. Because if not, if we're still constantly thinking of, I don't have what I want because I want what I have, but I don't have what I want, it's like we're not letting it flow, we're not letting it come to us, so we're creating resistance towards what we want. So I feel like with the whole election thing and COVID, as much as we could get information and do our part, like you say, Claudia, I think we needed to I personally did step back. However, I was very affected by it. I was affected by the energy of the country. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
all my,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I
Mm-hmm.
have to be honest, I was. And what did I do? I drank and I ate.
Yeah. Right.
And then when it went, and when the decision was made, I personally had a sense of relief. So it's something that it's the collective energy that, you know, I don't have yet the mastery of the mind yet to completely be unaffected by it.
Right. Right.
Like it is the, yeah, it's that constant. I want what I don't have, but if you keep thinking that you don't have it, then it's not gonna come, you know. So it's knowing that we want an answer, and you know it's gonna come, so let it go.
Right. Ace, do you have anything to add?
I'm trained to not talk about politics, but I will since it's your show, Claudia. So
I mean, it's not politics per se. I'm just saying the
no,
behavior itself
I,
of
I,
the citizen.
I would say, similar to Fernanda, there was a relief in this country, right? So
Right.
no matter what party you were, blue or red,
Mm-hmm.
we all know what makes what countries strive, right? And I think, the it's people's it's hard to control, especially in today's environment with so much consumption of media and outlets, right? You can go anywhere on your phone and you're hooked to your phone 24/7. So I think, you can't help yourself but look at what's going on, right?
Right.
You're
Right.
so interested in seeing, what's next, and the media portrays a certain aspect of what they want to portray depending on what channel you're watching and things like that. So I think it's really about self-awareness. I'd like to say that word awareness, because if you get yourself so caught up, then you're going to see yourself spending 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours out of the day consuming the content. But if you're aware and you understand what's going on and you want some of that information, there's something to be said about good information and good content, right? But spending 3 hours, to your point, Claudia, 4 hours, and being sucked into that could put you into a really bad place, because you're going to see, because the phones are very, very intelligent today, right? So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what it is. When I talk to my friends about something, suddenly the iPhone just pops up with whatever I'm talking about. So they're
And
listening to you.
I can't stand that. Mm-hmm.
And the more you're upset about something, notice that your whole feed is going to show up the same thing. What you're,
Yeah.
so, I think you just have to have awareness and just shut it down at a certain point.
Right.
But look, we're all curious. We're all human beings,
For
right?
sure.
We learn more about what our perspectives are, but at a certain point, it's going to be the same type of content, and you just have to shut it down at a certain point.
Yeah.
That's, I
That's
guess.
yeah. That's fair. No. That's fair. It is. I do understand wanting to know, right? But it was just the obsessiveness. It kind of worried me, and for me, like you, Fernando was saying, the collective, right? For me, I'm an empath, so I knew already when that week started to recharge, and just even though I'm gonna be home and not around people, I'm gonna feel it, and you just kind of like, how can I just digest that as well, and just waiting. But I just avoided the news completely because I didn't even have to watch it to know about it. It's so crazy. Even avoiding my phone and avoiding TV, I still like talking to family and friends. I'm like, there's no way around this, which was fine. But I just wanted little bits of the situation. But I just, my only reason for bringing it up is that I want everyone to be aware that whatever is going on in the world, unless it's the world ending, knock on wood, uh, just have that self-awareness, like Ace is saying, like have it, just like, okay, I watched 2 hours and I feel like today that's as much as I can do and have for myself. And then, if you have family, definitely dedicate more time to them and yourself versus what media is doing. And obviously they want ratings too. So just be aware of the world that you live in more so now, especially 2020. I think if it's taught us anything, is just that we need to change whether we want to or not. And if we don't, then I just can't. I don't know. I can't speak on that. I really can't speak. If you don't, then that's just a personal decision. But just don't go around being rude and unkind to people because you aren't happy with your life or yourself. At least the only thing I wish, if I could have a wish, is just for everyone to be kind to each other, no matter what your situation is going through in your life with your friends and a family and in the world. Just don't lash out on people just because you're having a day. And um, so the reason is for just trying to have people have that awareness of what that emotional uh, maturity that you may be lacking in the way you express yourself and emotion. And I'm sure that there was homes that people were stressed out right during the election. They were probably having arguments that had nothing to do with the election, but it was just other underlying things just brewing up. And so I just really wanted to create that awareness, and that's why I brought the subject up. I didn't want to go into like that I just more about the compulsive behavior, that it's not the first time. It just happens as a collective. And it just, as intentional as it is made, that we should be just as intentional to pay attention and be like, okay, this amount of time for that and this amount of time for me and then family or your projects or your things. So I just want to make sure people don't forget that you are still first, even though there's a lot going on. But if you want to do and change and help, you start with you, right?
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
that's it. That's I wanted to touch up on that because it's just like it was just a lot. It was a lot for sure. And we will have another election, another 4 years. So it's just like when the time comes, and just to be mindful of those things. And hopefully that helps some of you. And sadly, I won't have a Q&A, so this will be a little shorter. I don't have anything else to ask you both, but if you Fernando want to add anything, please do. um, or Ace, if you had anything to add on the overall conversation of today. Fernanda, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Cutting up a little bit. No, thank you for inviting me, Ace. It's so good to meet you. Um, I feel like this is amazing, that the fact that you're creating these conversations, and thank you everyone who joined, and just thank you for having me.
Yeah. Similar to
Yay.
really, really, thankful to be a part of this. Learned so much from both you, Claudia, and Fernanda. So always a good time with amazing people. Hopefully our audience got something out of it. In terms of, I know your first session was about mindfulness, and this session is now about retraining your brain. But it's all about, and I think both of you guys said it. Your determination, right? Do you want to make that change or not? And I think Fernanda, you said it way in the beginning of this show about you have to make a choice. And whether you want to turn off the TV, whether you want to start waking up early, whether you want to go to the gym, whether you want to start meditating, it's a choice. And most of us are too lazy to make that commitment, right? And I think for all of us who's struggling with that, I struggle with it. I'm sure everybody here, Fernanda, Claudia, we all struggle with it. But you are strong enough to make that choice. So if you are down, if you are, feeling the need of support, contact any one of us three here. We'll be here for you. But it's important to just be around good, positive, loving people that care and love you. And for the haters out there, for the people that are not supporting you, just weed them out of your life, because they're the ones that are going to keep you down. So keep on fighting, uninspiring, and look, for all of you listeners out there, continue to be you.
Yeah, that's great advice. I mean, it does help having the right people surround you, honestly. Uh, really, I really can thank you both so much. You both are, I just introducing, yes, I was writing your bios. I was like, I know you both are so busy and like beyond grateful for your time, really, truly, to help, the collective, to like kind of ruffle some feathers and wake up a little. Like, hey guys, now we have a community. Like, we can talk to any of my panelists, myself. if you think it's a dumb question, just ask it, because if you don't have people around you, and like that's why I'm creating, in case those people exist, like you're just by yourself and maybe you're only surrounded by haters or just negative people, then here's the opportunity for you to ask us and have that, like, how can I weed out haters, or whatever it is your question. How can I start meditating? I did want to mention, like, there's so many apps now, Headspace, Calm, and they give you reminders. And I like all these apps because they're not like, it's not like in a Buddhist session where you're sitting there and doing the oming. Like, a lot of it is a walking meditation. They'll walk you through it. Some of it uses sounds and like a lot of tricks to help you just kind of calm your mind. No one's saying that you have to be a pro and quiet thoughts. It's a forever path to like be completely zen. It's just more about paying attention what comes across thought wise, emotion wise. So that's why I created this, so that way you understand, like, hey, when I think this or when I feel this, blah blah blah, yeah, question it, is it okay, is it, that's why I love that. If I love myself, what would I do in case you come at a crossroads? Like, what happens if you're by yourself and not having the support? And so I hope that everyone feels like they're supported by me. I mean, I've learned through all my friends, Ace and Fernanda, and so many people here in LA. Oh my gosh, what support truly means. But you have to want to find those people, and they are there waiting for you. They really are. I mean, y'all are here. So I just want to be a testament to, like, when you show up for yourself, you best believe your friends show up for you. And that's what happens. So with that said, I'm gonna wrap up today's session. Um, Again, thank you, Ace, and thank you, Fernanda, at the bottom of my heart. I wanted to, before we go, I wanted to give you a little bit self-work to do. And what I was touching on, I want you to start feeling your emotions in your body. Meaning every time your emotion, any emotion, happy, sad, doesn't matter, I want you to feel it. Where is that in your body? Where? Like, where is that? Is happiness in my heart? Is the negative in my gut? Is it affecting my, like, do I get headaches? And the reason I want you to do that is so you understand where some of the ailments may be coming from in your body. Because the body will always tell you what's going on in your mind. But you have to be aware. So that's a little, instead of homework, self-work. For you to do, so that way it kind of helps you start this determination of wanting to be more in tune with yourself, so that way you end up with the self-love that you deserve. And I hope that all of you took at least one thing today to help you with your mindfulness, because the flow is what is needing. If that's what the self-work is, if you feel stuck somewhere, like, get in there. Like, the root of whatever may be bothering you is what you need to get into, and don't be scared. And we're here for you. So I wanted to tell everyone, tune in next month. We will be discussing holiday family balance. So December's up. And so I know it's going to be very hard and very different for families that are not together, have been together this whole time, or are missing certain family members due to loss. So if today's episode resonated with you, please subscribe, like, comment, or message myself at Presently Aqui, or at Ace Watana Suparp, or at Fernanda Kelly on Instagram. Thank you again to Fernanda and Ace for being here today, and a great big thank you to the audience. Thank you all. I wish you all love, safety, and health. I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. But last thing, I have an enormous thank you. If you are watching, Edwin Licona, thank you for believing and supporting in my dream. I love you so much. And thank you all, and have a great rest of your week.